Between August 2015 and May 2017, German gas stations running algorithmic pricing software converged to prices 28% higher in real terms. The stations never communicated. No calls, no emails, no coordination meetings. The algorithm simply observed the market and optimized. When Assad, Clark, Urshov, and Zhu published their analysis in Science last year, it confirmed something game theorists had predicted for decades. Algorithms can learn coordination strategies that humans struggle to achieve, and they do it faster. This is how that works. To understand algorithmic coordination, you need to understand a result from 1971 called the Folk theorem. In game theory, a one-shot game has a single interaction. You and I negotiate once. We never see each other again. So defection, choosing short-term advantage over cooperation, is often rational. The prisoner's dilemma is the classic example. But most real markets aren't one-shot games. Gas stations compete every day. Airlines adjust prices continuously. The same players interact repeatedly, observing each other's choices over time. The Folk theorem proves something elegant. In infinitely repeated games with sufficiently patient players, any mutually beneficial outcome can be sustained as an equilibrium, including outcomes that require coordination. The mechanism is implicit punishment. If I deviate from a cooperative equilibrium, you observe my deviation and respond. The threat of future punishment makes present cooperation rational. No communication required. Just observation and memory. Economists understood this mathematically for 50 years. What changed is execution. Human traders have limited attention. They get tired, they miss signals. They have inconsistent discount rates. They're bad at credibly committing to punishment strategies that hurt their own short-term profits. Algorithms have none of these limitations. A reinforcement learning system observes the market, processes reward signals, adjusts strategy, and executes, with perfect consistency, infinite patience, and no emotional interference. Calvano and colleagues demonstrated this experimentally in 2020. They programmed standard Q learning algorithms to compete in pricing games. No coordination instructions, pure profit maximization. The algorithms consistently converged to super-competitive equilibria. More interesting, when one algorithm deviated, the other punished the deviation by temporarily lowering prices. Then both returned to the high-price equilibria. The exact punishment mechanism that sustains human cartels, except executed perfectly, automatically, without any explicit agreement. The Folk theorem said this was mathematically possible. Reinforcement learning made it practically inevitable. Let me walk you through exactly how this works, using a simplified example. Two taco stands, adjacent locations, both using algorithmic pricing, no communication between them. Each algorithm observes only its own sales, costs, and profits. Initial state, both price at $8. Competitive equilibrium, each sells 100 tacos daily. Day 15. Stand A's algorithm experiments. This is exploration in reinforcement learning. Random perturbations to discover better strategies. It raises the price to $8.50. Result: Stand A loses 20 customers to Stand B. But here's what matters for the algorithm's reward function. Revenue from those 80 remaining customers is $6.80. Profit margin increased because labor and ingredient costs decreased faster than revenue. The algorithm receives a positive reward signal. Standard economic intuition says, Stand B should maintain its lower price and capture market share. But Stand B's algorithm is also exploring. Day 20. Stand B experiments with $8.50. It doesn't lose customers to Stand A, because A is already at $8.50. Sales stabilize, margin improves, positive reward signal. Day 40. Stand A's algorithm tries $9. Loses customers initially, but Stand B's algorithm, observing stable demand despite A's higher price, follows within days, both at $9. Both receive positive signals. Day 90. Convergence. Both algorithms stabilized at $10. Each sells 70 tacos. Lower volume, higher margins, higher profits than the competitive equilibrium. Neither algorithm was programmed to coordinate. Neither communicated with the other. Each simply maximized its own reward function through trial and error. The coordination emerged from mathematics. This is the key insight that most coverage of algorithmic pricing misses. The algorithms aren't doing anything exotic. They're implementing the Folk theorem's prediction through standard optimization. Repeated interaction plus observation plus consistent reward maximization produces coordination as a natural equilibrium. The gas station research documented exactly this pattern at scale. 2 years of high-frequency pricing data. Algorithms converging to super-competitive pricing equilibria. No communication between firms. No explicit programming to coordinate. What makes this interesting is the speed and reliability. Human tacit coordination in oligopolistic markets is well documented. OPEC, airline pricing, cement industries. But human coordination is fragile. Someone defects for short-term gain. Punishment isn't credible. Equilibria break down. Algorithmic coordination is stable because the punishment mechanism is automatic. The algorithm doesn't get tempted by short-term profits. It doesn't forget past defections. It doesn't have a bad quarter and panic. This scales across any oligopolistic market where algorithms control pricing and can observe competitor behavior. Airlines. Revenue management systems optimize ticket prices based on demand forecasts, remaining capacity and competitor fares visible through booking platforms. Research by Du, Goldstein, and G, presented at NeurIPS 2024, examined deep reinforcement learning in airline pricing. Airlines using these algorithms converge to higher average prices than airlines using traditional revenue management. 6 months to convergence. No coordination required. Hotels. Dynamic pricing algorithms adjust room rates based on occupancy, local events, and competitor rates scraped from booking sites. Research and management science examined major chains in competitive markets. Average daily rates increased 18% in real terms within 8 months of algorithm adoption. Occupancy remained stable. The algorithms found the coordination equilibrium that maximizes industry profit. Financial markets. This is where it gets technically interesting. High-frequency trading algorithms control over 70% of equity market volume. These systems observe order flow, price movements, and market microstructure in microseconds. Grealish and Colm's research in the Journal of Financial Data Science examined whether reinforcement learning market-making algorithms exhibit coordinated behavior. Their finding: algorithms trained purely on profit maximization, no coordination instruction, converged to trading patterns that maintained wider bid-ask spreads than competitive models predict. The algorithms learned that aggressive spread competition reduced profitability for all market makers. Through observation and iteration, they settled into equilibria that sustained wider spreads. Same mechanism, different market. Reinforcement learning finds coordination equilibria because the mathematics favors coordination in repeated games. There's a result from 1996 called the no-free lunch theorem. David Wolpert proved that any algorithm optimized for one class of problems necessarily performs worse on another class. The implication for algorithmic pricing: you cannot design an algorithm that maximizes profit across all market structures while simultaneously preventing coordination in concentrated markets. An algorithm tuned for competitive intensity will underperform in markets where coordination is possible. An algorithm tuned for profit maximization in oligopolies will find coordination equilibria. Firms face a straightforward choice: deploy algorithms optimized for competition and sacrifice profit in concentrated markets. Or deploy algorithms optimized for profit and accept that coordination will emerge where market structure permits. The math makes the choice obvious. This explains something that puzzled economists for years. Traditional antitrust analysis assumes coordination requires communication. The Sherman Act prohibits agreements in restraint of trade. When firms coordinate through implicit signals rather than explicit communication, the legal framework has limited application. Not because regulators are captured or incompetent, because the law was designed for human behavior patterns. Humans coordinate through communication. Algorithms coordinate through mathematics. Different mechanism, same outcome. The European Union's AI Act, implemented in 2024, requires conformity assessments for high-risk AI systems, including pricing algorithms. But the Act focuses on safety and transparency, not competitive dynamics. You can document exactly how your algorithm works and still have it converge to coordination equilibria. Some economists have proposed algorithmic circuit breakers, systems that detect convergence towards super-competitive pricing and force randomization. The implementation problem is fundamental. How do you distinguish coordination from legitimate price optimization? Any rule that prevents coordination also prevents efficient responses to demand changes. The more interesting question is what this means for market structure going forward. In markets with many competitors and low barriers to entry, algorithmic coordination is unstable. New entrants undercut the equilibrium. The algorithms readjust. Competition persists. In concentrated markets with high barriers, airlines, hotels, financial services, insurance, algorithmic coordination produces stable equilibria, not because anyone designed it, because the mathematics favors it. The trend is toward concentration, M&A activity, scale economics, network effects. Most industries are consolidating. As market concentration increases, the conditions for algorithmic coordination improve. Whether you view this as efficient price discovery or super-competitive extraction depends on your priors about market structure. The mechanism is agnostic. The algorithms optimize. The equilibria emerge. The market's clear. Let me synthesize this. Reinforcement learning algorithms optimize through trial and error. In repeated games, which describes most real markets, game theory proves that coordination is a sustainable equilibrium. The Folk theorem predicted this mathematically 50 years ago. Algorithmic pricing implemented it practically. The gas station research documented the phenomenon. The airline and hotel studies demonstrated generalizability. The financial market research showed it operating in microsecond timeframes. No communication required. No explicit programming to coordinate. Standard optimization in environments with repeated interaction and observable behavior produces coordination as a mathematical inevitability. The law was designed for human behavior patterns where coordination requires agreement. The regulatory frameworks are adapting. But the fundamental challenge remains. You cannot distinguish coordination from optimization when both emerge from the same algorithm. This is the first video in a three-part series on AI transformation in financial markets. Understanding how algorithms coordinate in stable conditions is prerequisite to understanding what happens when they encounter edge cases. In the next video, I'll walk through algorithmic flash crashes, the dynamics that emerge when these coordination mechanisms encounter discontinuities. March 21, 2023, saw the worst single day in systematic hedge fund history. The mechanism that drove it is the inverse of what we discussed today. Same math, opposite outcome. If you want to understand how these systems actually work, subscribe. More analysis like this every week.